Hi to everyone. Today we are going to do a very important program with Dr. Kumudu Fonseka. He is always talking about the political and economic of our country, and he is economic analyst for part 35 years experience in Doha. The founder and former chairman of Stafford International Sri Lankan School, Doha, Dr. Kumudu Fonseka. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ruwan.
Sir, what do you think about the current political situation in Sri Lanka?
I just want to tell you your question is very authenticated to this period. When you talk about politics in Sri Lanka, it is people should know what is the origin of the political situation and what is the destination they want to go. We are in a junction or a situation which is so complex. So the origin of the problem, I would put it as constitutional problem. The constitution was not so friendly to the people and the country. It was to secure the politicians. And it was done in such a way for the country at that time, but it doesn't suit today. Now, when it comes to politics, it is not just the system that matters, who is in politics also matters. So we don't have people who have consciousness to the country, but for their own well-being, they have come for politics. This is the major reason the politics have become so absurd to the country. So where are we going? We should go to a right destination. In order to go to right destination in politics, the people's demand is very important. People are talking about system theory, but system changes to come, they should understand what is the system changes that you need. Now, going to the point of changes, everybody likes changes, but look at it by consciousness of people is they are more concerned for their religion. They are from which place they are coming from, ethnicity differences. They are more concerned of that, but not the country. If you take the diaspora today, we are in trouble, and their concern is about the autonomy that they wanted for that area. The Muslims and the Christians will ask their Christian rights and the Muslim rights. And it is the same when it comes to majority Buddhist. They think somebody else is coming to rob their rights. So they are talking more about that than having a team of people getting together to build the country. In order to build the country together, we should look at more about our similarities. We are equalities. So then it will be much better, political platform will be built for politicians to do. That is the beginning. And we should draft the constitution in the benefit of people, not for the political agenda for politicians. This is the necessity. Now look at it. In the recent time, they manipulate the constitution for their benefit, for them to stay in power. And what they did was also nepotism, party politics, building new parties to build fundraising, and also they left many gaps for corruption. In that gaps, the freedom for the election commissioner was curtailed. The commissioner, then the auditor generals, it was curtailed. COP, they were always not respecting the results. Even commission reports, they were not transparent, because all these people, they work as politicians to secure them. They are afraid of their rights and their places.
Majority of people talk about the idea of combined parties for a state government. Do you think when all parties together, will it work for the country, sir?
Again, the same way you have to see the origins of these political parties. These political parties are built based on caste, the rich or the poor, communists or the capitalists, or liberal economic conditions. All these theories are there, but we must focus ourselves to the country before anything, but they are not. Now, the present scenario that the president and the parliament is concerned is to have joint effort. How can they join when they don't have any common stance? It is a friendly zoo. The parliament is a friendly zoo. They are friends. They are zoo. They are animals, political animals. They cannot unite themselves. So I as a person who is now 66 years old, I had been waiting for last 40 years to see some changes happen. And in the course of time, the whole politics had been deteriorating, economics had been deteriorating because they had the power hunger than serving the nation. It is only in their words they are servant but not leaders, but really speaking they are for themselves.
We've had that IMF support going to get for Sri Lanka. Do you think that it will help for the country?
If you take this IMF or any other funds coming from other countries as well as institutions abroad, they are all coming with certain agendas. Behind those organizations, there is a international political agenda. This we must accept. And when we also have our own political agendas, it doesn't fit together. Our objective is to take the funds and share among minority, which is the politicians. It is not the share for the state necessities. Today there is no plan in our country. Take the first economic plan that we had in 1972. When it came to 1974, it was a 5-year plan. Parliament itself said this book is available for sale in Gunasena for 5 rupees. The plan is worth 5 rupees as a education based program, but not practical. This is what is happening. Each time they come and do a budget for the people, that budget is not correct. If you take it today, the present one, 10% of the budget is allocated for defense and administration. Now, any country to succeed, Japan and Germany after the Second World War succeeded because they didn't spend on military, but they spent on the state. We should invest more money on old age people and young age, healthcare system and education. Education is the key to progress a country. See, they destroy the education system. They destroy and the present president from 1980s, he had his hand in education. He always used the education not only to destroy it in the way that they want the rich people to have a rich education system, not for the poor, majority poor. They slowly took the education system out of the poor, but they could not manage it even then. See the international education system. There is no control over the system. And millions of money we are losing in education, and plus this education money is going abroad. And they are jobless. They are returning back to the country jobless. Most of the people who have come abroad, their saving is invested on education of their children outside the country. This money would have been good for our country. Foreign exchange, we could build easily 1 billion with the education that we spend abroad for our children. So we have to export our education, not export our children.
During the past few months, due to the struggles and picketing, the former president was removed. According to your idea, was it a good change, sir? What do you think about it?
In the country, the poverty level was coming worse and worse every day. And also education system was deteriorating. And the old age people, their life is becoming miserable. And all of a sudden, this problem came up because of COVID. If COVID did not come, we will not know our country have taken so much of debt and people have robbed the thieves have robbed our nation. Because of this effect of COVID, it came up. It was good to come up than getting late. When we know that our debt is much higher than what we can pay, it's good to know early so that we can take precautions. That is why we invited even IMF to come. We tried with China. China, not only we took loans, we even lease our best properties to them. At the same time, we became so dependent internationally in politics with them. It is the same with India. We have become a dependent country to India. Now, in order to get out from the situation of debt only, we are doing this. But again, whoever is coming, they are putting their conditions. So, because we saw, the general public saw, not only the country economically depleting, at the same time, we became a dependent state. They came to the street to tell, it's enough is enough. You all should vacate from the parliament and give the new people to come into politics. Now, this type of struggle started in Tunisia, then it moved on to Egypt, and even before that, we had wars trying to introduce democracy to Iraq, democracy to introduce in Syria, but they never had the succession plan. They wanted only to oust somebody, but they did not know who is going to take over. It happened the same in Sri Lanka. Definitely these people, just not only the president, and the present president and his clan is responsible for all this. These are more, I would put it in spiritual context, they are devils, they are not animals even. They have this idea of destroying the place by force, but not with any support of anybody other than their military. This is called the fascist system of working. And the people coming to the roads, they proved one thing, oh gentlemen, the people's minds and the unity is much stronger than even the devils and their forces. So we manage only to take the president out, but complete system have to be corrected. But how is the way? It needs a special forum to sit, and temporary I am giving you a solution, one simple solution. That is, we can ask Saras Fonseka and the military, including Shavinda Silva, to take over the country with the election commissioner for next 3 months and call an election. So military have to take over in order to have a peaceful and election. They will say this is undemocratic. When the democratic system fail, military is the only option. But we don't want military to rule the country. We want military to come forward to secure the democracy of the country. Military have to secure the democracy of the country. It is a shame to say military is used against the majority people. Normally military is for the majority of the people. And this is the solution that I see urgently to be taken.
My final question is privatizing, sir. When majority of government institutions get privatized, what will happen to the country? Do you think this is an effective method, sir?
I'll take the transport first as an example. In the past, in 1956, they nationalized the transport. Then it was never a nationalization. The politicians did a fake operation. They compensated heavily to the bus owners, and they took to the government. And then in 1970s, again we privatized the transport. Now we want it again the state to do it. We should have a sustainable decisions to take. Our governments are not taking sustainable decisions. That is why people are suffering. Now, if you take the transport, the electricity, these are areas of services which have to be secured by parallel by the state. If you take it even nationalized organization like electricity, in England, when they gave it to private sector, there were so many frauds happen, even including billing. Now, if you take it, people are talking about artificial intelligence. We know how much of megawatt is produced, how much of megawatt is transferred. From this transferred megawatt, what is the income that the government should earn, we should know. Now, for example, we have recently, because of fuel, there is a quota system which introduced by a computerized system. So we will know if we bring so much of oil, when we turn it to fuel, which is for vehicles and all that, we should be able to tell at the end what is the income. But we are not doing that. In the history, we know Satosa, which was profitable sectors of the government, which is belong to the public. It is the income of the state we want to privatize. For example, today, Cinnamon Grand Hotel, majority shares were with Satosa. We sold them. It is the same when it comes to today Sri Lankan Airline. Sri Lankan Airline is a national carrier. This is, in a country, there is something called image. Politicians don't know about image. Look at it. What happened during this time? The country image went off. The flagship, which is Sri Lankan Airline, politicians talk against that. They do not manage that, but they are the ones who destroy it, putting political influence over Sri Lankan Airline. So if you are changing to private sector, do not put your influence over that. Competent body to be appointed and do it into a system. But I am against any profitable organization going to private sector. And Sri Lankan Airline is one organization we would have run profitable. There was 2 years that we ran with profits, with Harry Jayawardana's intervention. So I am telling the government, these are the influence of IMF and all these organizations, because they have another political agenda behind them. Behind these funds, there is the international politics is going to play a big role. And in that, they will also take the blessing of these corporates, which is going to help them to come into the country and use it for their political ends.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the valuable information and for your time. Thanks again, sir.
I must be very thankful, Rohan, for you for organizing this. And we should again meet again, because in a short time, such a complex situation cannot be explained. And your questions have been very authentical to the time. And thank you very much. And all the listeners, I thank you. And I beg you, you have to participate. Educated people are not participating enough to pressurize the government, pressurize the system for a major change to happen. Thank you very much.
So, goodbye for today. Don't forget to subscribe SLRR Production to watch a valuable program like this. See you again. Thank you.